My addiction, man, started back when I was a child, right? And I can just remember, man, that as I can remember, I always just had this obsession and compulsive personality. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Far as like, you know what I mean? Like I will I mean, I could remember, man, me just watching pornography early in the days, right? I'm talking about still in elementary. And I just couldn't stop watching it, man. You know what I mean? I struggled with that. I struggled with that for a long time, man. Me growing up, man, mother and father, man, they were addicts themselves, right? And my grandmother raised me. She raised me and my sibling, right? She raised me and my brother. And I can remember as me raised up with her, raised up with our grandmother, man, I was raised in an atmosphere of drugs, alcohol, grown men, grown women. I didn't have that what I want to say. I didn't have that one person that tell us, hey man, I'm gonna take y'all fishing, right? I didn't have that, let's sit down and eat as a family. I didn't have that. I didn't know that. I ain't know nothing about that, right? So later on, man, I started behaving in school and I just dropped out of school, man, because I wanted to hang with the other guys. I hang with
Mm-hmm.
the other guys, man. They was getting some money and I wanted some of that, you know. And that's where the cycle began for me, man. With the drugs, man, my grandmother, like I said before, she had what was called back in the days a Jew joint, where people would gather around and you know what I'm saying, they'd start drinking and smoking cigarettes and all that, man. So I try to stay away from home much as possible. I wanted to hang with my neighbors, man, and I wanted to do what they was doing. And I remember I was introduced to alcohol. When I first drunk some alcohol, man, I threw up. I threw up. I mean, my stomach, I can remember that bubbling sensation in my stomach. I remember that, but I liked it
Uh-huh.
that after I liked it that though. I liked that. I'm one of those addicts, man. That's why they called us unique people, man. Because I'm an addict that like to gag, right? I'm that addict that like to gag when I take drugs. I like to gag. When I
Uh-huh.
gag, I know it's that good stuff, right? It is
Okay.
that good stuff when I gag, right? Yeah, so I remember, man, I threw it all up, you know what I'm saying? But feeling, the feeling that I had after that, after I threw up, man, it's like, damn, I want some more of that, man. So, then I was introduced to marijuana, right? And I remember, I had to smoke from when I woke up until I went to bed. That was me, that was my thing, man, for years. And I want to just try something different. I wanted to try something different, man. My grandmother had these pain medications, right? These pain medications, and I just started taking them, man. That was a thing, man, back in my area around the time in the early 2000s, man. People was taking pills, man. And they was doing that like on a regular, and I found myself taking opiates, man. I found myself taking Percocets, and that right there was like the whole game changer for me.
Okay.
So I was popping pills on the regular. And one day, man, I woke up and I ain't have no pills. I woke up one day and I ain't have no pills, man. And then I start feeling that my body was aching. Right? Now, I didn't know nothing about this disease of addiction. I ain't know nothing about this disease of addiction, man. I wasn't exposed to it. Ain't no one told me about it. But I woke up one morning. Didn't have no pills, my body hurting. And a little bit later on that day, my bowels to start moving fast, right? I remember this, man. I remember it, man. My bowels was moving, man. And but the thought that the disease of addiction had my thinking, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I wanted some more, right? And I just came up on some more, then everything stopped. All the achings and the bowel movements running fast, everything just stopped. So I right there knew then, like, oh, I need these pills, man, so I can feel better, right? So now I got that in my mind that if I gotta take these pills so I can feel better. If I don't take them, if I don't have that one, when I wake up in the morning, I'm gonna feel the same way. I just witnessed that, right? So, that went on for a long time in my life, man. That went on for a long time in my life.
Let me ask you this, man. Well, okay, you doing drugs, and what was the feeling like, man, before you were using drugs, man? What did you feel lonely? Did you feel abandoned? Did you feel not loved? What was the feelings like that led you to the drugs?
That's a good question, man, because I mean, what all you said above, I felt I was feeling all them, man. I was feeling lonely, my grandmother, she did all what she can do, she did all what she can do, but that's a woman can't really tell her, I mean, what really teach a man, what I'm saying, what another man can teach him, right? And I always had abandonment issues. My mother, like I said before, man, my mom and dad, what I'm saying, was on drugs, and and they wasn't there.
Uh-huh.
They wasn't there, man. So, I always had that, just always abandoned. When I get into relationships, in the beginning, I had abandonment issues. I had abandonment issues, man. When I was in these relationships, I would do anything. I would harm myself, man, to make my partner feel good, right?
When you
Because I
say
didn't.
relationship, you
Yeah, yeah,
talking
yeah.
about intimate relationships?
Intimate, just intimate. No, no, not just only intimate, but just all around, man. Just friends, period. I would hurt and harm myself for you to like me, right? Because I want you to
Give me
be
an
my
example
friend.
of that.
Right, because yeah, so the example of that is like, I wanted you to like me so bad. I wanted you to be my buddy and my friend so bad that I would do anything to keep that relationship because I don't want you to leave me. I don't
Right.
want you to leave me because, like I said in the beginning, my mom left, right? My dad left.
Mm-hmm.
It was only my grandmother
Right.
and my sibling. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, me growing up, man, I witnessed that, man. I witnessed all that abandonment, man. I was lonely. It was just, man. I
Yeah.
had a whole lot. I had a whole lot going on, man, and still do
Right. Let me
today.
ask you this, but let me slow down. But you said you harm yourself to
Uh,
prevent a woman from not leaving you. But give me an example of how you will harm yourself. Give us an example how
yeah.
you will
So
harm yourself.
the way I will harm myself will be that I would do something. I would go against my morals.
Okay.
I would I
Okay.
would
There you go.
I would go against everything that I believe, everything that I thought that I stand on, and just put all that on a back burner just for your acceptance. You know what I'm saying? For your acceptance, man. And that hurt. I carry that a long time, man. Yeah, man, it brings back a whole lot, man. I did a lot of harm to myself, man. We did many people a lot of harm, but most of all, we harmed ourselves, man. I am that person, right? And so I remember, man. So I was using the pills, and people around me, my loved ones. My loved ones, not my buddies. The buddies ain't gonna never tell you, you know what I'm saying, you out there, but the people that love you, right? They decepted. They seen that I had a problem, right? But they was wrong and I was right. I ain't got no problem. I remember, man. This is how sick I was, man. Right? And this is something that I never in my right state of mind, and when I ain't got that one in me, what I'm saying, I would never thought that I would do this, right? I remember hooking up with a buddy of mine, and we went to go meet the drug dealer, right? And we met up with this drug dealer. Now this drug dealer is the age of probably even older than my grandmother, right?
Uh-huh.
I caused harm to that person. I robbed that person.
Uh-huh.
I remember that look on that elderly person when I forced that person to give me some drugs. Man, I'm telling you, man, that it hurts my heart, man, to even thinking about just to think about it, man. I forgot, I totally forgot about all that. But yeah, man, I
Uh-huh.
remember I remember that person, man, that I harmed. I could have killed that person.
Okay.
I could have literally forced, I could have literally hurted that person, man, but the look that that man
Yeah.
gave me, it was just, it was all bad. It was
So
all
tell us
bad.
how what was it like? When did you have enough? When did you hit your bottom?
when I hit the bottom, when I hit my bottom, right?
Your bottom. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, when I hit my bottom is when I was my grandmother was still living, man, right? And she told me, man, she looked me right in my face and told me, she said, man, I'd rather for you to being an alcoholic to being a junkie. That's my grandma said this to me. She raised me, right?
Yeah.
And she said she seen the destruction that I was the path that I was on, right? And the bottom, man, it was like, I got kicked out of the kid's mom house, so I had to go back on my grandmother's house. But the insanity part about it is that I had my own apartment, but I sold everything out the apartment, so I didn't want to be in that apartment no more. You know what I'm saying? So where I go to my grandmother's house, right? But I just had to sit
Okay.
and think about it, like, damn, man, I lost everything. I lost every single thing. My babies didn't want to be involved around me. That the mothers they took them away from me, and it was just, it was all bad, man. It was bad. It was bad, man.
Okay. Was that your bottom?
That was the
That's when
bottom.
you.
That's what I thought that was my bottom, right? You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Because so what happened was is that I went to jail. I went to jail, right? So they put me in treatment. They put me in treatment. They put me in treatment for 6 months, and I
Okay.
stayed in there. And me being in that treatment, man, the seed was planted of recovery.
Okay.
The seed was planted of recovery. You know what I mean? I grew up, man. My mother was in the fellowship, you know what I'm saying? I don't know about my father, but my mother was in the fellowship, you know what I'm saying? And, I used to see her, you know what I'm saying? I used to see her going to these so-called meetings.
Okay.
I remember one time I found, hey, I remember one time I found the book of hers, and she really like really got on my tail about she was so worried about if I read anything in that book. You know what I'm saying? But I told her like, nah, I ain't read nothing in the book. I didn't. I didn't read anything in her book. But now
You
I know,
said she
like,
was worried. You talking about
yes,
one of her books, like her
yeah,
work book, or just a
yeah,
regular book?
yeah, one of her inventory books.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
saying?
Okay. I
Cause now,
got you. Yeah.
cause now I'm at an age, I'm a teenager, you know what I'm saying? I'm at the age, you know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Right.
I can read and understand stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Right. Right. Right.
and what I know, what I what I know now, you know what I'm saying? It's like, man, inventory can get real deep. It's personal.
Oh, real deep. Yeah. 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 That's where the healing at. Yeah.
You know what I
It's
mean?
personal.
So yeah. So with that being said, man, recovery was the seed was planted back in 2017, and
Okay.
the first thing that I did though, V, when I got out, right, the first thing that I did, right, I got out, I got me a bottle. I got me a
Okay.
bottle, man. I went to go get high again, man. The first day, within that hour, man, I was high, right? And then I went back into using the pills and everything.
Okay.
So yeah, man. So things was already bad, man. Nothing was good, man. You know what I'm saying? Anytime that I use for me, you know what I'm saying, it's just it's all bad, So I go to the meetings with my mom here and there, you know what I'm saying, and that's when the fellowship was introduced. I was introduced to the fellowship. Right now, you remember what
Okay.
I said. You remember what I said. The seed was planted when I was in the treatment. But
Right.
now I'm witnessing, you know what I'm saying, the fellowship, right?
Okay. All right.
And
So
right, so
so she invited you to go to meetings?
yeah, she invited me to go to meetings with her.
Okay.
And
All right. Cool.
and that's what I did, man. I went to meetings with her. And so
Okay.
and when I was in the meetings, man, they got this thing that say keep coming back, man. You're not going to get everything overnight. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
I was hearing some interesting stuff, man. And
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? So, like more seeds is just planting in me. More seeds just planted
Okay.
in me, man. And that's when I found me a sponsor, man. I found a guy, you know what I'm saying? My mother told me to walk up on that man, you know what I'm saying, to just to get his number, and I was scared as hell.
Right.
I was scared, B.
Okay.
I was so scared, man, because I ain't never done that before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll walk up to a brother. or somebody and say, hey, what you want? You know what I'm saying? But asking for help, I was scared. That was new to me. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I did that, man. I did that, man, and that was my first sponsor, man. And
Okay.
I grew to I started to trust this sponsor, man. And yeah, man. So he was giving it to me, man, the same way that they gave it to him, man. And yeah, man, and that was it right there, man. And that's when now the seed is definitely planted. You know what I'm saying? And
Okay.
I start communicate. I start what I want to say, communicate. I start getting more days in sober and clean. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
things,
Getting some. Okay. All
yeah.
right.
So I'm starting to think different. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And yeah, I'm starting to think different, man. And what happened? What happened for me, man, was that it was suggested that I go into an all man's sober living. Oh my God.
Okay.
Boy, they told me to do that, man. They told me to do that, but I did it. I gave up my apartment and I went into the sober living, and that's when my recovery started, man. The journeys.
Okay.
That's when the journey happened, man. Yes, sir.
Okay. So you was taking suggestions. They was giving suggestions because that's a
Yeah.
big part of recovery is taking suggestions. So it sounded like you was taking suggestions, right?
I was taking suggestions, man, and I was reaching and asking for help. But keep in mind, I was just only really talking to my sponsor and maybe about another and probably one more person, man. I fully ain't trust
Okay.
everybody. I fully ain't
Okay.
trust everybody because where I came from, man. You can't trust no one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Someone always wants something. And but yeah, man, I trust the process, man. And I went into this all men's group, and I end up staying there 3 years. 3 years, three
What?
years. Yeah,
Okay.
I end up staying there 3 years, man. And I'm talking about, man, I remember me going to sign papers with this house manager. And when I end up leaving that house, but I sober living, I was the house manager. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
All
you know what I
right.
mean? So
Yeah.
so so someone seen in me that's something I didn't see in myself, right? I never thought that I
Yeah.
would ever manage a home, right? And that's what we get
Mm-hmm.
over here. And that's what we get, man, in this recovery process, man. We get these things called miracles, right?
Okay.
You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? I was maybe about maybe 2 months clean, man. I got a good job. You know what I'm saying? And
Okay. Yeah.
I never thought about, you know what I'm saying, driving a forklift and you know what I'm saying, but they trained me. They trained me,
Right.
right? They trained me, right? And
Mm-hmm.
these people, I don't know what they saw in me, man, but they's like, man, I trust this individual enough, man, to drive our forklift, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
man, but man, things was good, man. I bought my first vehicle. I bought my first vehicle just
Okay.
by
Yeah.
just by the miracle of just staying away from that first one, right? You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I was keeping myself busy. The job was keeping me busy, but also, man, I was putting my recovery first too.
Okay.
Calling my sponsor, calling an addict, reaching, going to the meetings. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
So you start benefiting, reaping the benefits of this recovery process.
the promise is
Yeah.
hope, man, and freedom, man. Freedom from
Okay.
drugs, man. And I had this man. See, and another thing too, V. Right? I had this core belief, man. I remember when I was in treatment, I was like, "How do y'all have fun without drugs?" I thought it was
Okay.
impossible. I thought it was
Okay.
impossible, man. I was thinking, man, the disease had me so caught up, right? It was like
Yeah.
you can't watch the Bengals game, man, without a drink. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? You know what I mean? You ain't gonna enjoy it without no drugs, right?
But
But
can you? Can
oh
you?
my, yeah, man. That's what I'm saying, man. You gotta your belief system gotta change, man. And when you stand clean, man, and keep coming back, right? And
Yeah.
you just keep coming back, man. You know what I'm saying? That belief is changes over the years, man. You know what I'm saying? It
Okay.
changes over
All right.
time. So
Yeah. Okay. So do you start being around people in recovery and you taking suggestions? You know what I'm saying? Even though you don't trust people. I heard you say you don't trust people. You trust your sponsor. You trust a couple other people in
Mm,
recovery. And now your belief system are changing, right? Now
mm.
tell us about your perspective on life now. How you see life now that you're in recovery.
Man, listen, man. It's this thing called, man, we get our spirit back, right? We get our spirit
Okay.
back, man, when we stand clean, man. So, you got this connection. I'm just talking about me. I got this
Okay.
connection with this God, man. I have this connection. I like when I said about the belief system, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When I was in active addiction, man, I didn't wake up and roll over and thank the creator. I didn't do that. But now me
Okay.
staying clean, it's like that's something that I gotta do. I gotta keep that. I gotta keep that. I gotta keep that number one, man. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because without this God that I believe in, right? You know what I'm saying? None of this. Let me say it again. None of this can be possible. He took the desire away. It's my job. It is my job
Okay.
now, man. It is my job.
Let me ask you this, Benny G, before we wrap this thing up. You got a new person, man, that's listening to you carry your message right now.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
he's struggling with
Struggling.
recovery, man. He's struggling with that higher power piece, man, that God piece, man. What
Uh-huh.
suggestion you got for him?
Okay. What my suggestion is for the newcomer, the one that's struggling with the God piece,
Yeah.
pray as of right now, man. Think about it. You wake up every single day, right? No man or no woman got the power to wake you up, right?
Mm-hmm.
No man or no woman has the power, right? And I suggest whatever you want to believe in right now, I suggest that you just talk to whatever that's power, whatever power that's greater than you. Just just let it. I don't know, man, because when I came in this piece, man, I already had a God who I was serving. Right,
Mm-hmm.
me staying sober and clean, man. It just the relationship just got stronger. So what I suggest, man, is just hold on. That's what I
Okay.
suggest.
Okay.
I suggest that just hold on and just say thank you. You ain't gotta say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say. Don't say God because God is everything in my life, and I
Okay.
don't want to discredit Him. But just something. Just say thank you. I'm alive, and eventually
Okay.
something is going to click.